care about. WLBB, Carrollton. News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. Special good morning to our listeners and viewers this morning in the friendly city of Bowdon. You can watch our program this morning on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Our guest this morning is the mayor of the city of Bowdon. He is seeking re-election. Early voting is going on this week. And, of course, you can cast an early ballot at the Carroll County election headquarters in Carrollton, and or you can wait until Tuesday, November the 5th. I know a lot of people like to go to their own polling place, and it's in their neighborhood, so they like to wait till Tuesday. And if that's what you want to do, make sure you do it. Two gentlemen running for the mayor's seat this year. Logan Jackson, he'll be on the program tomorrow, scheduled to be on the program tomorrow, and the current mayor is Jim Chaffin, and he's our guest this morning. We appreciate him making the trip up north to the city of Carrollton to talk about his candidacy and kind of look back on your current term, talk a little bit about that. So those who may not know you, there actually could be people in Bowdon who don't even know who the mayor is or hadn't ever thought about it. Maybe they were 16 at the time, now they're 20, they're more involved and more interested in their community. So if you might introduce yourself a little bit for us without talking about your politics, without talking about being the mayor. You know, What are you about? Who are you? What you been up to?
Well, I've been in Bowdon now for about 12 years. I came to Bowdon 12 years ago from Auburn, Alabama. I lived in Auburn, Alabama 35 years. Went to school there and had planned to retire there. And my wife at the current time became ill, and she passed away after about caring for her for about 3 years. And never thought I'd marry again, but lo and behold, I married this lady from Bowdon, from Bowdon, Georgia. And wound up moving there. I had just retired to take care of my wife, and she was still working, so excuse me, I sold my home in Auburn and moved to Bowdon. Never dreamed of getting in any kind of politics, but the position I held when I worked for a USDA agency in Auburn, an agency called the Natural Resources Conservation Service. I worked for them for 42 years. I was assistant state conservationist for the state of Alabama, and I had responsibility for all administrative activities statewide, including and also the computer networks. So I felt like after I moved to Bowdon and lived there 3 or 4 years that I had enough experience in the administrative field that I felt like I could maybe lend some support, and felt it a duty of mine private to run for council, which I did. Was a council member for 4 years. Had no intention of running for mayor. However, the current mayor, Keith Crawford at the time, had a lot of illness in his family and talked me into running. He was going to run, but he didn't feel like he could, so that's how I became mayor of Bowdon.
How do you compare? Can you compare Auburn to the city of Bowdon?
Yes, in terms of friendliness. I can tell you this, I lived all over the state of Alabama. I worked 7 years in the field before I moved into state headquarters located in Auburn. And Auburn is by far the best place I ever lived. It's a community town as well. It's a great place to raise a family. It has anything you might want for your kids to be involved in. Plus, it has an outstanding schools, kind of like Bowdon. Bowdon has a wonderful school system as well. Has a great track record, graduating people, good people. We're just a friendly city, as we're known for.
Jim Chaffin, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. He's one of two people running for mayor, for current mayor, and he's one of two people seeking that seat in the ongoing election. Early voting is going on this week. Election day is Tuesday, November the 5th. If you have questions or comments, I encourage you to call us 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK, or you can post your questions or comments to the Facebook page, and I'll take a peek at those during the break. 4 years as mayor. And you were 4 years as city council person.
Correct.
Before that, what's the difference?
Well, the difference is the council has more responsibility, more power than the mayor. In our form of government, with a mayor and a city council, the mayor has very little power. Basically, the mayor presides over the council meetings. The mayor only has a vote if there's a tie in the council, 2-2. But as the council person, you're more involved as far as having a voice in developing policy, ordinances, and that kind of stuff.
Does mayor set the agenda, or is that city manager?
City manager sets the agenda. The city manager actually runs the city. Now, I stay in contact with the city manager. We probably meet 2 or 3 times a week to discuss issues. Certainly if something comes up he thinks I need to be aware of, we talk about it. But the city manager runs the city. The mayor and council sets policy, and he carries it out. Basically is how it runs.
Was there a particular issue that got you, I guess, involved in city council first or maybe into mayor to stay on?
There was no issue that got me involved. It was just a feeling that I owed the city something. I'd been living there for 4 years, and, it's not always easy to get people to participate in the city government. They want things to be right, but they don't want to have a hand in getting it done for the most part, and it does take time. And for example, as a mayor, and it's certainly not the money. I don't know how to get along with that. I draw gross salary of $140 a month. That really helps out. But I spend more gas than that going to meetings. But anyway, I don't know. It's just a feeling that you want to make a contribution to the city, do what you can to make it a better place to live.
Did you ever waver on seeking re-election this time? Did you come in here knowing that you wanted to seek re-election this time around? Or?
Absolutely not. I had no intentions of running again. No, I felt like I had done my duty, contributed 4 years to city government. But as it turned out, I got an awful lot of encouragement to run again. And I had several of the city employees putting pressure on me to run again. And I got to thinking about it, and really in the 4 years that I've been involved in the Bowdon city government, we probably have the best situation now that in the 4 years I've been there. We have a wonderful city manager, Gary Bullock. He is a terrific businessman. He knows how to run a city. He knows how to deal with people. He knows how to deal with complaints. And we have a great council. We probably have the best council we've had since I've been there as far as getting along, but still expressing their own opinions. That's one of the things that I voiced when I first became mayor to the council. I am not looking for a council for rubber stamping. I want you to express your own opinion. Let's talk about it. But once the decision's made, let's all get behind it, support it.
The charters are different for cities.
They are.
And I guess a smaller town like Bowdon, do you find yourself being the answer, the person that residents do go to first if they have an issue or concern, or do you think they do go to their council first?
I'd say most of them go to their council. And the city manager gets quite a few calls, and I get calls. But let me say this, I do not get personally involved in actually executing the business of the city. Now, when I get calls, and I'm free to talk and welcome anybody to give me a call, but when I get a call, if it's about an issue that needs to be looked at, the first person I go to is the city manager. And I say, here's the situation you need to take care of. Because I never go out and make a decision without him having knowledge of it. I don't go to the department heads. I get a call about a certain department head, I still go through the manager, and then he goes to the department head. You can only have one manager of the city. If you have more than one person trying to make decisions for the city out in the field, then you got a problem.
I was going to bring this up later in the conversation, talk about working with department heads. Somebody had sent me a photo about 3 weeks ago, and I wonder if you know what I'm talking about here. It was the suggestion in the photo that somebody who worked for the city of Bowdon was driving a Bowdon city vehicle and purchased alcohol.
Correct.
Got back in there.
Yeah.
How did you approach that? Is that resolved? And I don't know if that's fact.
Listen,
happened.
I'll be more than happy to address that issue. What happened in that situation? My opponent claimed that he had made a video of one of our employees buying a 6-pack of beer in a government vehicle. Part of that's true and part of it's not. The part about the employee buying the 6-pack is absolutely true. The part about him videoing it is totally false. He did not video it. Now, when that occurred, it occurred back about almost a year ago in November. He claimed it was just done recently. What happened, the employee had worked late, tired, headed home. He stopped on the way going home, bought a 6-pack of beer. The very next morning, he came in to the city manager Said, man, I have screwed up. Told him what he had done. Now, he didn't drink anything. He just bought it, transported it. Mm-hmm. The city manager wrote him a letter of reprimand, talked to him, and put it in his personnel file. See, that was taken care of.
It was handled last year.
Yes, it was handled last year, in November, immediately.
And I'll be happy to bring that up tomorrow, as he is.
Yeah, you bring it up.
Is scheduled to be our guest tomorrow morning.
He claims his vehicle was broken down.
He didn't send that to me, by the way. Somebody else did send it to me.
Okay, well, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to start a controversy. I'm just telling you the honest God truth.
Mm-hmm. And I think that just goes a way to show how you handle that. And
that's right.
And if that is
exactly,
if that is an issue and a concern, again, smaller town.
That's absolutely.
And it's a question if, do people hide those kind of things?
That's right. But see, personal issues, and that's one of the other responsibilities I had when I worked for the government. I handle all our adverse actions for the agency in Alabama. Mm-hmm. So I know all about this kind of stuff. And I was the ethics officer. I taught ethics, which we don't teach anymore. Or we don't act. We don't.
It's always good when we can hear our camera guy in the other room laugh.
But anyway, it's when something like that occurs, you take care of it immediately. You make sure the employee knows. And bless the employee's heart, he came forth. He said, look, I'm sorry, I did this. We said, well, the manager told him, said, well, I've got to write you a letter of reprimand and to ensure you don't do this again. He said, don't worry, I won't do it again. But anyway, that was taken care of last November.
8:42, Jim Chaffin is mayor of Bowdon. He's our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. He'll be challenged, or is challenged this year, by a gentleman named Logan Jackson. They're both on the ballots. Early voting is ongoing at 8 till 5 o'clock, or maybe 9 till 5 o'clock through Friday of this week at the sometime just go in the afternoon if you're going to vote early at the Carroll County Elections Office here in Carrollton. And, of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November the 5th. And, again, we'll have Jackson on the program tomorrow. We'll come back with more with the mayor of Bowdon after this. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3.
Oak Mountain Academy has offered a challenging college preparatory education for over 50 years. With over 500 graduates, we have maintained a 100% college acceptance rate. Over 90% of our students earn acceptance to their first choice of college or university, and over the past 5 years, our students have earned over $10 million in scholarship offers. Our students are creating a legacy. Come, be a part of our family and create your own legacy today. To learn more, visit us at oakmountain.us.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org. or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. And this morning we are streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I didn't take a peek for questions during the break. Maybe I'll do that during this portion of the questions. What are the biggest concerns, the biggest needs for the city of Bowdon right now? What are the things you're focusing on, whether they're for the next 4 years, whether they're right now, or are you looking ahead for 8 years, 10 years for issues?
Well, we just got through developing a 25-year plan, and it's divided into 5-year segments. And I would say our biggest concern right now, as far as the mayor and council, is improving our infrastructure in the city of Bowdon. Two things. Being a small city, we have city limits of 1 mile. Our tax revenue is not that much. Our entire general budget's like $1.9 million. Approximately $400,000 of that goes to the recreation department. And then we've got 4 other departments. So you can see we just don't have a lot of money to do things other than to provide the essential services that we provide for the citizens of Bowdon. That takes up almost, if it weren't for splash funds, we couldn't do anything with our infrastructure. And right now, that's one of our most critical needs. And as well as we're trying to also improve the look of Bowdon. We want to make it a beautiful place. When you ride through Bowdon, people want to come back to Bowdon. And we've got several vacant buildings in downtown that we're trying to fill with merchants. And we're trying to create a more of a business atmosphere that people would be attracted to come to in Bowdon. And as well, we'd like to have some industry come to Bowdon. And in fact, we're in the process right now of developing a DDA, a Downtown Development Authority, for the city of Bowdon for that sole purpose of trying to attract businesses. And, DDA has authorities that the city council don't have as far as raising money, borrowing money, and this kind of stuff. And in fact, we had Ms. Corin from the Department of Community Affairs with Georgia over last week to discuss with us. There's always concerns when you appoint an authority. When you appoint an authority like the Downtown Development Authority, then they're a total separate entity from the city council. They rule their own show. They raise their own funds. They have authority to buy buildings and to attract investors to maybe improve or to initiate whatever project they're trying to initiate, whether it be a revenue project, entertainment project, or whatever it might be, which city council doesn't have those authorities. But we're still continuing to work, and we also, one of our main programs in that respect is our Main Street program. We're one of the smaller cities in Georgia that has some full-fledged certified Main Street program, ran by Jan Gibbs, who does a wonderful job. She's the director of our Main Street. And they're tasked also, one of their main goals is trying to improve the downtown appearance. In fact, they had a facade program last year where they'd pay 50% of our people that own businesses to improve their storefronts. We had some success with that, but we're just trying to create an environment in Bowdon that the people themselves are really interested in getting involved in.
What are the qualifications to be part of to be able to bring in a DDA? I mean, does the city have to have a certain amount of money? Do they have to have
No. All it requires is you have to be approved by the state of Georgia. And there's certain forms you have to fill out and so forth. But then you appoint 7 members, have to be citizens or own a business in Bowdon to serve on the board. And then those 7 members are tasked with the trying to improve Bowdon, in fact, one of the projects we were looking at, there's an old mule barn there in Bowdon that we were talking, one of the citizens there was in the process of trying to buy it, and then if he bought it, he was planning on donating it to the city. The city then in turn was going to donate it to the DDA, and then they were going to try to find funds to renovate it and probably make an entertainment center out of it, this sort of thing.
As far as appointing the board members for the DDA, do you give like each council member get a chance to add somebody in there? What would be the qualifications to be those?
Well, the way we do that is during a council meeting, each council member has an opportunity to make a suggestion who they would like to serve on it. We come up with a list. We haven't made that yet. We've probably got a list right now of, I'd say, 15 that we'll
consider.
Settle on 7 of them.
Jim Chaffin, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, mayor of the city of Bowdon, and we do have a phone call. Yesterday we got some feedback. Hopefully I can avoid that today. Hey, good morning. You're on the Community Voice. Good morning. You're on the Community Voice program.
Good morning. Hey, y'all. I would like to ask the mayor a major question. Since you have been mayor, the illegal drug rate has really increased in Bowdon. Why have many of the drug dealers not been arrested? That's what needs to be done in the city of Bowdon.
Yeah, I believe that would be future. Because I don't have
Hey,
answer.
well, listen, I couldn't agree with the person more. And believe me, I have gone to great lengths to try to do something about our drug problem in Bowdon. I have made contacts. People doesn't have no idea how many contacts I've made. And I've made contacts high up. But I can tell you this drug problem, the root of the drug problem is not only locally in Bowdon, it runs all the way to the top. I can tell you that right now.
Well, we ran a story today that in Carroll County for the month of September, Carroll County had the most per 100,000 people drug overdoses that actually went to urgent care. So it's a big problem in the county, unfortunately.
Well, and we've arrested a number of people that are dealing in drugs, but these are the small guys. And they pay large fines for it. But we're just getting the guys, the runners on the streets that sell the packages.
Do you think the city gets that information out good enough? Do you think they promote those arrests and are letting people know that, hey, we are working here? Do you think that information is getting out, whether it be on Facebook or the website?
No, we don't. I'm sure it's not.
Would you encourage that to happen, or is there a reason maybe not to put that out at the time?
See, I don't know. We work closely with the GBA, and in fact, and also the county. We have one employee that the county pays 50% of their salary, and we pay 50%, and they work primarily in the drug enforcement area. And I haven't talked to the guy. We haven't really got acquainted as far as how he runs his operation, but I would assume that he would not want to advertise too much stuff that he did. And I know particularly they spend weeks sometimes of setting up a drug bust. And we'd recently had a couple of those in Bowdon that there were several people involved and arrested. But one reason you probably don't, like I said, is that they don't want to advertise what they're doing, how they do it, and so forth. So, but we're doing all we can. We really are, and it's one of my main concerns. In fact, when I was first elected council, I went to the police chief there in Bowdon, Mark Brock, who does a wonderful job, and talked to Mark about it. He has similar concerns about it, but it's just a very difficult problem for a small city.
About 8 minutes before 9 o'clock, Jim Chaffin, our guest, he is mayor of the city of Bowdon. You got a little more time to put questions and comments on the Facebook page if you like. Rick Tillman, he's the chairman of the Carroll County Republican Party. He is a Bowdon resident. He says, hello. Justin Richards, I believe it's Pastor Justin Richards, also a Bowdon resident, I believe. He says good morning as well. And we'll come back with about maybe 5-6 minutes left in our program. If you have comments or questions, I do encourage you to post them up on the Facebook page, or you can call 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK. Community Voice, brought to you by Tanner Health System, Oak Mountain Academy, here on News Talk 1330 and FM 106.3.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama. Because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
A well-rounded education includes much more than just academics. At Oak Mountain Academy, we encourage our students to find their niche in any of our 42 co-curricular opportunities. Over the past 5 years, we have brought home 5 state and 20 regional athletic titles. Our one-act play and literary teams continuously compete at the region and state level, and our academic teams bring home first place more than not. We are warriors creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
8:54. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice Program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. I'm Colin Worthington, your host. Jim Chaffin, our guest. He is mayor of Bowdon. He's seeking re-election. Early voting is ongoing till Friday of this week. You get a day off on Monday. And if you'd rather head out to your personal polling place in Bowdon to cast your vote for mayor, you can do that on Tuesday, regular hours. Polling places close at 7 o'clock Tuesday. And then we encourage you to tune into maybe 3 or 4 of the Grady Communications radio stations. I'm assuming B92 Country and News Talk 1330 will do wall-to-wall coverage from 7 o'clock until they shut the place down and give you all the updates on all the local races, and we do have plenty. So I hope you will tune in. Trust us Tuesday evening to bring you those results. About 5 minutes left in our program here. Let's talk about what do you think has been accomplished in the last 4 years, and maybe if you want to go back 8 years, things that you feel like you had a good hand in.
Well, some of the more recent things that we've accomplished in Bowdon, we just recently completed replacing all of our water meters. We had water meters, I don't know how old they were, but we now have updated water meters where the lady that reads the water meters can ride by in a truck. She doesn't have to stop, keep going. And also, we just got through resurfacing a road to Tice within the city limits of Bowdon. It was a horrible road. And that's one of the areas that I really want to focus on as funds become available. Every street in the city of Bowdon needs resurfacing. And it just makes me feel ashamed when I ride over some of the streets in Bowdon, the condition that they're in. But we just simply have not had the funds to do it. But that is one of the highest priorities I have. Once we have some funds available, that's what they'll be targeted toward. And let's see, we've replaced, in this past year, we put roofs on 4 buildings. We put a roof on our senior center. We put a new roof on our water plant, on our library, and on our junior high building, which will be our new office. We're going to move our City Hall into the junior high building, which is a much better, larger complex that was donated to the city of Bowdon by the county. And we've been working on that now for over a year and a half.
County schools?
It was a county school at one time, yes.
The county schools donated that to you?
Yes,
or did the county
they did.
Itself
the county school, yes, they sure did. And it requires some renovation inside. But we now have our council meetings there. We've got our court. We have that room completed. And hopefully within this next year, we hope to move all of our administrative offices in there with the exception of the police department. This is going to take some time because we're going to have to knock out walls and do quite an extensive renovation to get the police department in there.
Where the old city hall is, I guess the current city hall, where that's set up, I mean, it's just an image. If you're just looking at that one little section, it's definitely an image of like Old Town. I mean,
it is. It's on the historic register.
What are you going to do with that building?
Well, we're not sure. We have offered it to the Historic Society, and at first they were interested for storing stuff, but I'm not sure. But we'll do something. We'll preserve it. Mm. That's one thing else about the city of Bowdon. They are very sensitive and proud of their historic buildings in Bowdon. That's a vital part of the city. And we try to include them in all the things that we do. And that was one of the fears when we were talking about doing the DDA, is there was concerns that it might impact our historic buildings without any input from the city council. But we've made a determination after talking with Ms. Corrine from the state of Georgia that that's not going to happen. We're going to be working in close concert with the DDA if and when it's established, and our historic buildings are going to stay maintained and preserved. We wouldn't think about doing anything that would damage those.
Jim Chaffin is mayor of the city of Bowdon, seeking re-election. It's early voting ongoing until Friday, and then of course election day is Tuesday, November the 5th. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming up to talk to us this morning. And if you missed any of this program, we're going to put it in podcast form. If you just want to hear the audio, you can listen to it on newstalk1330.com. Or if you want to see Jim's smiling mug, you can look on the Newstalk 1330 Facebook page, because as I said, it'll be up there forever, this interview. And again, good to see you. I appreciate you talking with us.
It's a pleasure. I just wish we had more time.
Absolutely. Well, maybe soon enough. And thank you all for tuning in this morning to the Community Voice program, as always brought to you by our friends at Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy. It's 8:59 right now. Stay tuned for national news at the top of the hour. We'll have local news at 2 minutes after. And then Glenn Beck is on the air until 12 o'clock. Have a great Tuesday. Stay dry.